Welcome to Adventure Unfiltered with your host, Lorna Bray. I remember first meeting Emma Norton and being struck by her energy, warm, open, full of life and lots of laughter. Just someone completely herself, comfortable in her own skin and strong in a way that felt effortless and real. That balance, spark and steadiness is exactly what made this conversation so compelling. This episode of Adventure Unfiltered is about real life, how we grow, how we reset, and how the outdoors helps us to find our footing again when life becomes busy, pressured, or uncertain. Emma's journey has taken her off-piste, off-road, and at times completely on fire, moving fast, pushing hard, living fully, but always returning to something deeper and steadier beneath it all. On the surface, Emma's story looks like one we think we understand: elite skier, competitor, outdoors professional, business owner, mother. But the longer we talked, the clearer it became that her story isn't about achievement, it's about being grounded. Emma represents the idea that adventure is not separate from everyday life, it sits within it. Through injury, pressure, work, family and change, the outdoors has remained a constant place of clarity, connection and return. She also carries a strong sense of community, particularly in how women support and lift each other, and a belief that adventure should be accessible, human and real. One of the most human moments in our conversation came when Emma reflected on pushing too hard in her early competitive years, chasing improvement, losing joy, and ultimately being stopped by injury. That experience reshaped her relationship with sport and risk and with herself. It changed the way she guides others in her quad trekking business, not just taking people off-road, but helping them reconnect, knowing when to push, knowing when to pause, knowing when to simply breathe and notice where you are. She spoke so beautifully about the lesson she hopes to pass to her son, not to rush blindly forward, but to see, feel and enjoy the moment that you're in. So let's go. This is Off-Piste, Off-Road and On Fire with Emma Norton.
It's unreal, like the people that you've already interviewed. I was like, where do I fit in? I've never wrote a book. I was like, I've not done these massive expeditions. I was like, I just see myself as like the girl next door. I was like, wonder why she wants me.
You are running an incredibly successful business in the Cairngorms National Park. You used to be a pro athlete.
Forget about that.
No, I know, well that's it. You have this incredibly colourful adventure background.
Yeah.
That's why.
Aww.
And also you're a heap of fun to be around.
I try. I try not to take life too seriously sometimes.
Well, I think that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Emma Norton, welcome to Adventure Unfiltered podcast. I have met Emma somewhere a bit different today. We're not in my living room and we're not in her house. Probably best that you explain where we are, Emma.
We're in my favourite spot on Rothiemurchus Estate. It's called Tulloch Grew. It's a little back road between towards Whitewell. A lot of people park here for doing a few of the Munros, going up to Loch Eynick. But it's my special spot because you can see everything from up here. I feel like this is our kingdom. This is us. We've got Mealabuchal, we've got Carnelrig, we've got Craigdhu, we've got Cairngorm, and we've got the Larrig. So we've got the Larrig Grew.
Why else is this area, this particular patch, special?
Yeah, I forgot about that. I got married here. We chose this location because it means a lot to us.
I was thinking of it this morning about the very, very first time that I met you, Emma. And it was back at our mutual friend Susie's house. And she had all the girls round for a Christmas party. And the theme was sparkle. Now, most people turned up with a little sparkly hairband on or maybe a sparkly top. Not Emma! Emma turned up head to toe in sequins and sparkles, and I was like, yes, I love this woman. She looked absolutely amazing. You came in, you were like, I thought the brief was sparkles. Before that, I had only ever seen you on Instagram, and when you came in the door, I was a bit like, oh my god, it's Emma from Instagram.
Stop, because I went, oh, it's Lorna from Instagram.
What was it like competing for Team GB on the ski circuit?
pretty intense for such a young age. Like, I was really young. I think being away from home for that whole time, no Christmases with family, birthdays, everything like that was all just put to the side. Travelling around in vans, chasing races was, I think of it now, I think it's absolute madness. But at the time, I was so in it and I involved in it, and it was my passion. I loved it, and being part of that ski circuit, you were with your pals skiing around. Like, it was your best friends, and still some of my best friends are part of that team. Like, you create these bonds with these people. I think of it now, I instantly talk about like the regret of a lot of it, of not being like aware of where I was. And I was just traveling, going from A to B as fast as I could, and then jumping in a van to go to the next resort. And I talk about like some of the circuit they do now. I don't even know if I've skied there. I can't even remember it. But I think if I stood at the top of the start gate, I'd be like, oh, I've been here before. It feels like a lifetime ago.
What age were you?
So I was like 16, 17.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had to do all 4 disciplines. That was part of the circuit, because all the girls didn't have a specific, but it made you that all-round skier if you did it all. But I was a speed event girl. I liked going fast, and anyone that knows me now, I still do. And the fact you had like the whole piece to yourself to go as fast as you possibly could. No one else has that opportunity to do that. Okay, you're standing on 2 essentially planks of wood. To most people, that's probably terrifying, but I absolutely loved every minute of it.
Absolutely incredible. So how did it come about? Were you just naturally very, very good at skiing?
Mum and Dad moved here to ski 45 odd years ago now. So Dad was a ski instructor and he was a basic trainer. We used to finish school on a half day on a Friday and go up the mountain and go skiing. Whether we did like 1 or 2 laps, it was just as much as we could. A big part of that was that then became our lifestyle. So we talk about it now, like, so those opportunities were there. They were there for us to have, and my parents committed us to that. Yeah, we did the swimming and we did the biking and we did the skiing, but it was really, I remember Dad sitting me down when I was like 14 and was like, right, what do you want to do? And I was like, what? He's like, well, you need to take this seriously if you want to do it. And we were the kids that turned up with like our old 5-10-year-old skis and like knackered and boots that were 2 sizes too big, but we'd still win races. And I still laugh with that. My friends that were on the team, they used to rock up with 2 pairs of skis, their parents with all the food and all the blankets at the end, and we didn't have any of that. We just like cracked on. Made us hardcore, I feel.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, that Scottish embracing character building.
What did those early experiences teach you then about resilience and discipline and being outside in all weathers?
Yeah, hardship and just being really independent. I think for me is in the hills. I guess that there was times that you would push out the ptarmigan restaurant and you'd be blown back into the restaurant. It's those moments, and you're cold and you're wet and you're freezing, but they're just like, oh, we'll do one more, and you love that. You hate going up on the Poma. Your legs are burning, but to me, I guess it did. It almost created a hard shell. I feel like that has made me into the person and maybe the business owner I am now. I still have a soft side. I have a fun side. It has created that. I'm thankful for it. I don't dwell on what I ever did, or there is times that you question what we did as kids, but I feel like that is exactly how we make our paths and how we are. It
shapes us.
Shapes us, yeah, it does. It totally does.
You're obviously incredibly resilient. I don't think you have a hard shell.
I can quite quickly, be like, actually, no, this is the process and this is what needs to be done. And then I can turn that around quite quickly. Like you say, it is how it shapes you. And it is character building is from foundation. It's from when you were born to where we are now. That journey that you've created. I'd never change any part of that. No way.
After competing at high level, how did you navigate the shift to kind of a more everyday relationship with adventures?
Oh, it took ages. So I finished racing in America, and I remember sitting at the bottom of a slope and I phoned my dad and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, it makes me like go emotional. Because it was hard. I was away from home and I just was like, well, what am I going to do now? How do you stop being a professional full-time athlete to, I didn't want anything to do with skiing. I was like, I'm done with this. And my dad was like, let's just go for a ski, you know, because you're so used to being on that one run. And I forgot what skiing was all about. So I went for a ski with the guy I stayed with, who his family, and he was like the ex-demo team, and he was hilarious. He was called Gary. He was so funny. He was just the best fun to be with. Like every run we did, he'd come to the bottom and he'd be like, champion! And he'd shout at the top, and I was like, that is what you want to feel every run. It doesn't matter what's happened. And so we just went for a really good ski, and then I went and joined a little ski school, and I shadowed some of their sessions, and I was like, oh, this is quite nice, you know, teaching younger kids, teaching the next generation. But when I got home, I was like, no, I'm done with this. And so I was like, well, what do I do now? My mum and dad were like, you can't just sit around. So I was like, right, I'll go to uni, because that's what I guess people did. So I was older going to uni, and what I found is actually everything I knew about sport and my sport, skiing, is like, well, actually let's just channel that. And so I did the 4 years in Edinburgh, and I loved it, and that's how I met Jamie, my husband. So I feel like that is yet again a part of my journey that was meant to happen. You know, that was the right place at the right time. He's the reason that I went to uni, I guess, because from uni, obviously there's a lot of stuff come from uni that I've put into the business.
What did you do at university?
So it's sport and exercise science, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to be in a lab. I don't want to be, you know, hooking people up to machines, even though it was really interesting. I learned a lot. I learned about people was a big part of it, like how people go into scenarios and deal with scenarios. And that was really interesting, skill acquisition, etc. So I was like, well, what can I do? So I used to come home every weekend. I used to come home and work for Dad every weekend, or come and ski instruct or coach. So that's where I was like, I need to come back into that. And that's where I fell back in love with it, where I live. And then I didn't see myself ever leaving here at all, because it feels like it's home. Mm. You know, I drive through Dumoctor and I just go, ah.
You relax.
Yeah.
Do you still get that competitive itch, or is the joy somewhere else now?
Oh, I do. Yeah. My mum was always like, it was not the taking part that counts, it's the winning. And I just like, she was one of those mums.
Okay.
And I love her for it, because she drove me to like essentially always want the best and be the best person that you could be.
Yeah.
I try, even through work, I always want to better what we do. So I don't ever want to be stagnant. You know, I always want to be that better person. Yeah. It's more about myself, competing myself rather than other people. I don't think of it like that anymore. It's always about, and I think that is because Mum used to say it's not the taking part, it's the winning. And it's actually the winning in yourself, you know, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel like you've achieved something.
How did that feel though when you were competing, and now when you didn't win? Were you really hard on yourself?
Oh yeah, really hard. If you hadn't got the points that you wanted or the medal, it was really tough. And actually, my most successful year in racing, I missed out on the prize giving. It actually gets me quite upset, because I was competing at a high standard at such a young age, and my coach at the time was like, you're going to the French national champs, and I shouldn't have gone. I was way too young to go. But he was like, you need to go and pack. And I'd done so badly in the slalom race that I was so angry at myself, and he was angry at me. And so I just left and went and packed, and I'd missed the whole ceremony. And he arrived at the apartment with 2 IKEA blue bags full of trophies and threw them at me. And I was like, I didn't know how to react to that. Yeah. Like, every podium picture, there isn't a picture of me on it. And that, I feel, is really hard. And then we came back to the same resort to do the final races. I wanted to do so well that I took risks. I was also knackered from doing like so many races back to back. My mind was not there, and I fell. I took such a tight line. And you watch some of the other racers, like Dad used to watch it over and over again on video, and I took such a tight line, a bit like Lindsay Vonn recently. She took such a tight line, I pretty much ejected from my skis and blew my ACL. And I smashed into fences, screaming my head off in the pain. All the boys for the race were at the bottom, were just like, oh, I don't want to go race now, because that looked painful. And then the next girl after me, I felt the fence go again. My legs like wrapped around my head. And the fence went again. And there was another girl in the fence that did exactly the same as me. And I was just like, why are we in this position? Why are we like little fish in a net, you know, stuck? And my parents were there, and every time my parents turned up at a competition, I hurt myself. I feel like there was a lot, like I wanted to prove that I was doing really well.
Yeah.
It was always the national champs, so it was always at the end of the season, which used to drive me mental because you've been worked so hard throughout the circuits. So yeah, I wanted to just make my parents happy and proud,
Yeah, of
even though they
course.
were already. But it was just like, I want to show how fast I am because I love this. I'm competitive with myself rather than other people. I'm just like, oh, I kind of let myself down there.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, they've beat me to it. I never see it like that because I love that people are successful at what they do. You know, I'm like a driver. I'm like, go for it. Why are you not doing that? Okay, well, what's happening? Why can't you get to that position or where you are in life?
Are you proud of yourself?
Oh, majorly. I say majorly. I am proud of myself. I tell my little boy every day I'm proud of him because you should be told that everyone is proud of what you do, you know, but you don't hear it. And I feel like that's maybe a Scottish thing. We're like, oh, it's just what we do. You know, we're like, oh, blasé. Like, don't talk.
Breezy.
Yeah, breezy, exactly. There's this, like, I don't know what it is. We don't want to hear compliments, and we don't really,
Correct.
we don't really want anyone to talk about us like that. But we should, but we're not good at taking it.
We're terrible.
We're awful.
And as women, we're even worse.
Yeah.
Imagine being a Scottish woman.
I know.
You've got kind of that layer of not being able to want to hear a compliment, and then being a woman, you don't know how to take a compliment. But it's true, like you don't. And it's uncomfortable even talking about it.
I remember when Molly Hughes, she actually asked me to be a Tizo ambassador, or a supported by Tizo. And I was like, wow, why is she choosing me? I was like, I've literally just tagged her in a post of me and my friend did the escalator ski tour up onto Brainiac, and I tagged her in it. I think it was like Women in Power or something powerful. And I tagged her. I didn't even know her, but my friend did. My friend said she met her in a bar and she was like playing a drinking game with her. And I was like, oh, let's tag her. And she actually got in touch with me through that. And I was like, that is a woman supporting a woman, and that step and where that took me. And I was like, oh, that's that confidence. There is people out there to batter that down. And I feel like that's where we just go into that, almost that shell I was talking about. You just go, actually, I don't need that. I don't want that in my life.
I think that's healthy though.
Yeah.
I think it's really healthy to recognise that behaviour, even if it's kind of masked behind, you know, supposed niceness or kindness. You just know, you just have a feeling that it's not okay. You know, women supporting women is so important. It's so important. Be the person who shouts about that other woman, who likes them and loves their posts and shares it and opens the door for them, because that's, you know, it's only going to help people.
Yeah.
Tell me about the business. Tell me about the quad bike business.
I've worked at the business. I worked out 19 years. My dad set it up just with 2, and he built it from there. So it's 25 years now this year. So we're going into our 26th year. It's family run. We take out everyone and anything and and show them where we live. Part of where the people I employ is they have to love where they live. They're not just here for a winter or a summer. They're here for life. And we wanted to employ people for the long term. That was the idea. Dad set it up. I've been involved 19 years. We used to do ski seasons, so we used to go away when it was quiet because he couldn't afford to pay us, essentially. And then come back for the summer because Aviemoore's changed. Aviemoore's gone from that ski resort. Well, it was actually a railway town originally. And then the skiing came, and that was when it really hit off, and the winters were super busy. But as we stopped relying on the winters as much, we had to think about, well, what are we doing? So Dad was off-roading in the summer and then skiing in the winter. And then we actually had the lady of the estate phone Dad at one point and be like, there's people here that want to go quad biking, they can't go skiing. And so we were like, oh, we'll just open in the winter. So we run all year round now. It's beautiful, and it changes literally every hour we're out there. I love it. And we've been, building it since then. Still growing it, I
It's
guess.
such a cool setup, and it's based in Rothiemurchus.
Yeah.
It's another way of accessing the outdoors
Yeah.
and wild spaces. Not everybody can ski, and not everybody can go on a massive hike.
Yeah. And not everyone wants to do that either. So that's like, I guess we've gone from like a quad biking, like mud plugging centre to a quad trekking place.
What's quad trekking then?
So quad trekking is you stop, we talk about the area, we appreciate where we live and tell them stories about where we are, and just make people not just think about where they're going, they're looking around them. So as a ski instructor, that was my big thing. I was like, well, don't look at where you're going, look at what you've just achieved. And so that was always my thing. With the quad bikes is where that's changed, is people want to have that time with you, and that time is really important. With the trekking, you know, you're talking about the lichen, you're talking about the heather, you're talking about the hills, you're talking about the estate. You know, the estate is like, you know, the history of the estate. You know, it's nearly 19,500 acres, and it's owned by a family, and people don't realise that. They think it's just owned by the national park, but actually no, this is still family run. James and Daisy is still very much involved in the estate, and being a family business within a family business, and also having people work for us who are also family members, like, that's a wonderful thing. And when you tell people about that, it breaks barriers. The nicest story I have of how much we mean to people when they come out with us, I had a dad and a son. The son was sent off to boarding school close to here. So the dad was up visiting, and they wanted to do something together that obviously the boy had decided they wanted to do. And they arrived, and there was very hostile like environment that I came into, and they didn't speak, they didn't, you know, they were both on their phones. And halfway around the trek, they were high-fiving each other, they were like having a laugh, you know, it was just lovely. We were just in that moment. And when we finished, we never walked people back, because I like watching people leave, and they were hugging, and it was like that relationship was back. And that time, and we only have them for an hour, you know, but that impact you can make on them is just, it's lovely. We get reviews all the time, like the best thing we've done in Scotland, and you've made our trip, and it's a special thing.
You're now a mum to a gorgeous wee boy who seems to already be a natural on snowboards and balance bikes and basically everything outdoors. Was that always the plan?
Me and Jamie blame each other for it, because we don't sit still. So it was more, how do we get him out? I can't be at home all day. I will be at home if we need to be home, but it was, well, let's nurture it. Why not? So I was like, right, I'm not going to be that mom. I'm not going to buy the really expensive bike. I'm not going to buy this, unless he likes it. So we're always trial stuff with him. And so we got the second-hand bike. He wore through the bearings on one of the bikes. I was like, oh my gosh, he loves this. Let's just embrace this. I'm not a massive biker, like I go on a bike, but he's like doing jumps, and he's really keen for it. Like, I find it really hard I want to be present for him, but work is really important to me, to make sure, again, those people are experiencing what I've talked about, but also that the staff are happy, and essentially my husband's happy in the job. I get really anxious if I'm not at work, because you want everything to make sure it works like clockwork, and that everything is running smoothly.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take long for it not to, and then you've lost control of it. So I always want, I guess that's my thing, is I always want to be in control.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, when it's your business, you know, it's like your other baby. It's like you're switched on.
It's my dad's baby.
Well, it's your dad's baby, exactly.
Mm.
So it's like that level of responsibility as well, and it's like a 24/7 thing.
Yeah. Dad always had a thing, like, he never wanted an office. He always had a file fax, and he used to like prance around like, this is my office.
I have a quick fire round.
Oh.
We've got several questions. Are you ready?
Okay. Quick fire, so no babbling.
No. Okay. Snowboard or skis, you're only allowed one forever.
Skis.
Best Scottish snack after a freezing day outside.
It's not Scottish. I love a curly fry.
Just the one?
No, it has to be a bowl. It's not Scottish though.
That's okay.
And I am brew, but
There you go, you made it Scottish. One thing you always carry in your adventure pack or your backpack that people wouldn't expect.
oh,
A curly fry?
no. Oh no, you're thinking crisp curly fry.
No, an actual curly fry.
Yeah,
Oh no, we're
yeah.
big fans of curly fries in our house as
okay,
well.
cool. Yeah, with garlic meal. That wouldn't expect. Oh, this is not quick fire because I don't think I have anything exciting in my rucksack.
I was going to say you're the coolest person that I know, but I might take it back.
But then probably what I think is normal is probably not normal.
I know. So in Lorna's rucksack there is usually layers, food, waterproof. Is it the same for you?
Yeah, but that's nothing. You've
it's
asked
not
what's
anything new.
exciting, what's new, what's...
Nothing. We're boring. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I don't take anything that I don't really want to carry the whole way about.
The most exciting thing that I ever have in my bag is usually a fusty banana from the last time.
Something like a soggy cereal bar or something. You're like, I was like, well, if I'm really desperate.
See, that's it, but it's always a black banana for me. Like, I always find
I can't do it.
Squishy banana.
Do you need a banana guard?
What's a banana guard?
Oh, I guess that's maybe that's my exciting thing. It's a plastic banana guard. Have you never seen them? Currently Googling.
So actually, your answer to one thing you always carry in your adventure pack that people wouldn't expect
is a banana guard because I can't deal with squishy banana. It's the goo. It goes like goo. Like
that's I have the
wrong.
goo.
No.
Then when you put your hand in, like
Stop.
a month later. Sorry, right?
Stop.
I'll go into the next quick fire. What is the most Emma thing you've ever done on a mountain?
Oh, Jamie laughs so much at Emma things. So Emma things are talking to people about random stuff on the mountain. Like the other day, he's like, what are you chatting about? I was like, oh, did you see that really nice lichen back there? I don't have a filter on the mountain. And Jamie's just like, not even like, oh, hello, how are you? It's like, oh, did you see that?
I love that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Dream adventure if you had a baby-free day and unlimited budget.
Oh, that is a great question. Baby-free, unlimited budget, any adventure in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go heli skiing in Alaska.
Oh my God. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, because you need endless budget. Because I don't want to go for a day. I want to go for a month.
Yeah, well, you'd have to. The question was a day, but okay, let's make it a month.
Yeah, I guess the day thing. Yeah, days. Yeah, I think I can get away for a day. That's like, I feel very grateful that I can do. I don't have an unlimited budget, but I can go. But I choose not to. It's really interesting. Since having Thomas, it's about them now. I've done a lot. I've seen a lot. There's stuff I still want to do, but I'm never going to tick all that off. You're never going to tick it all off. For the hours and days and years that we have on the planet, I'm very grateful for that. But we are limited, and I would rather share that with him. A really good friend of mine, she said, it'll be left to them anyway, so why don't you share it with them now? I was like, that's exactly it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I was just like, let's go. Where are we going?
Yeah,
Where's next?
Where's next? Okay, final quick fire question. If your wee boy grows up to be an adventurer, what is the one lesson you hope he takes from you? I mean, I say he grows up to be an adventurer. He already is, but what is the one lesson about adventure that you hope that he takes from you?
To know when to say no and you're tired. We are pushed. Sometimes we push ourselves, and actually you can just take a step back. I'll probably contradict myself here a lot because I stayed with a guy in New Zealand, and he not once did he stop and smell the roses. And I was like, you should stop and smell the roses and appreciate what you do have. And I think that's it. It's like, if you get tired, it's okay to be tired, and it's okay to be sad. And what's next? And crack on with the next thing. But you have to be able to say. And I think that was my biggest mistake when I was ski racing. Put so much pressure on myself all the time that I didn't know when I was tired, so I got hurt. And I think that's my biggest lesson to him would be.
Emma, this has been absolutely amazing. What a hoot. I mean, you are one of the coolest people that I know.
No.
No, stop. No, you're doing the Scotch woman thing. No. Sorry, I'm not. Okay, I'll not go into that. But,
Okay, I am.
Yes. Before we finish.
I don't know if I'm the coolest person.
I
You've
think
met
you're so
some cool people.
Yeah, you are so cool.
Yeah. Are we allowed to say cool? I thought cool wasn't cool anymore.
Do you know what? I don't know. I don't know what the kids say, and I don't even want to try and pretend that I know what the kids say. Before we finish up, the strapline of Adventure Unfiltered is "In the wild, we remember who we are." And I ask all of my guests what that means for them. So, Emma, what does that mean for you?
Oh, see that? That's what it means. Like calmness. I'm so all over the place with what I do, managing a business, running a business, having Thomas. It's a grounding that when I am out, I'm just out doing my thing. I don't need to think about anything else. You can switch off from everything. And I think that's my biggest thing when I go out. Whether you find yourself or anything like that out there, it's just a reconnect with that ground. Stop, smell the roses, smell the heather. You know, it doesn't matter how small or how big your adventure is. And that's what I like, is that it doesn't have to be Monroe bagging. It doesn't have to be, big adventures for, mind you, you do some epic stuff.
So do you.
Canoeing, just unreal.
I mean, to be fair, sometimes I get dragged along. No, I'm kidding. But it is completely, a lot of this, because Ollie's done a lot of bigger things and it's made me level up on a lot of the things. So a lot of the time I do feel like I've just been thrown into it, even though I do the training for it and things, but it does feel like really, really huge. So it's not, I don't know, I'm not doing a thing where I'm saying I'm not great at that. What I'm saying is that it's like such a new experience for me as well, which is it's pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. No, you're more than welcome.
And where can listeners find quad bike treks Aviemore?
On the Rothy Marcus website. Everything is done through Rothy Marcus.
And on all of the socials as
all
well.
The socials, yeah, you name it, we're on it. We're TikTok famous and Instagram famous now because people tag us and we don't expect it. So it's not my own personal doing, but it's been, that's how you can find us.
Brilliant.
You'll find me or Jamie, depending on who's got Thomas. Sometimes you'll see Thomas at work.
I love it. I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation with Emma Norton. Her story felt deeply relatable about navigating ambition, family, responsibility and identity while staying connected to the outdoors and to yourself. In a world that often celebrates speed and performance, Emma's perspective reminds us that adventure is not always about going further. Sometimes it's about coming back to the centre. For Emma, the wild is a place of return, a place where pressure softens, where clarity emerges, where you reconnect with what matters, not through achievement, but through presence. And in those moments, grounded in the mountains, the trails, and the wild places she loves, adventure becomes something simple and true. Because in the wild, we remember who we are. I'll see you next time for the final guest on Season 2 of Adventure Unfiltered.